There is a sacredness in silence that most people will never learn to honor. We live in a world where mouths move faster than minds, where people spill their whole story to anyone with ears, as if validation can be purchased with words. And yet, the more you speak of your dreams, your struggles, your hopes, and your wounds, the more you hand away pieces of yourself to people who neither deserve them, nor know how to handle them. Stop telling people what's going on in your life, because not everyone listening wants to see you win. Not everyone smiling at you is smiling for you. Some smile at the thought of your downfall. Some lean in close only to carry your business out the door and whisper it into corners that will twist it against you. There are things in life that are meant to be guarded, kept in the vault of your spirit until they manifest into the light. People love unfinished stories because they can interrupt them, doubt them, poison them before they bloom. When you open your mouth too early, you give them the chance to trample on seeds that haven't yet broken through the soil. The soil needs darkness, the roots need time, the seed needs silence, and so does your life. Too many of us are so eager to announce the journey that we forget the power of arriving quietly and letting the world see only the result. There is strength in letting your fruit speak for itself, rather than inviting others into the planting and watering of your dreams. Some people do not wish you harm outright. They just don't know how to carry your truth. They may love you, but they will impose their fears onto your path. You tell them you want to start a business. They tell you about failure. You tell them you want to fall in love again. They remind you of heartbreak. You tell them you are healing. They remind you of the scars. Without meaning to, they take the light of your hope and cover it with the shadow of their doubts. That is why silence is golden. Not every thought deserves an audience. Not every dream deserves discussion. Some things need to be nurtured in the quiet until they can withstand the noise. There is also envy. Do not underestimate it. Envy has broken families, ended friendships, and destroyed communities. Envy can live in the eyes of the people you trust most. It sits silently, smiling while you speak, but secretly measuring your success against their stagnation. The moment you share what is blooming for you, envy begins to water weeds around your garden, and weeds do not need permission to choke the life out of tender plants. You think you are inspiring them, but sometimes you are awakening their insecurities. And insecurity, when stirred, often leads to sabotage. Not always through action, but sometimes through silent withdrawal of support, through gossip, through discouragement, through the kind of energy that makes you question whether you are worthy of what you desire. When you tell people everything, you leave nothing sacred. A life with no sacred spaces becomes a life too exposed, too vulnerable, too fragile. Privacy is not secrecy. Privacy is protection. It is the fence around your garden, the shield over your treasure. Secrets rot in the dark, but privacy is what allows truth to grow without interference. A wise person does not fear keeping quiet. A wise person knows that silence is not weakness, but power. Silence keeps the enemy confused. Silence keeps the dream safe. Silence keeps the heart free from constant judgment. People who truly love you do not need constant updates to prove your bond. You do not owe the world explanations for your every move. You do not need to narrate your life like a storybook for others to consume. Too often, we confuse transparency with honesty, as though withholding our private battles makes us dishonest. Honesty is about integrity, not exposure. You can be honest without being an open book. You can live authentically without revealing every chapter. Remember that even the most beautiful stories are told in parts, not all at once, and certainly not to everyone. Sometimes, in your eagerness to share, you are looking for applause. You want someone to cheer you on. You want reassurance. But when you rely on others to validate your journey, you weaken your spirit. Applause cannot sustain you through the quiet nights, through the battles fought behind closed doors, through the tears nobody sees. Validation cannot keep you standing when storms hit. Only faith, only persistence, only your own belief in yourself can do that. So let your journey be enough for you. Learn to clap for yourself in silence. Learn to affirm your worth without needing the echo of others. There are people who will weaponize your openness. What you tell them in confidence, they will later use as a blade. They will wait until you stumble, then remind you of the words you once spoke with trust. They will twist your truth into mockery. They will laugh behind your back at the same dreams you poured out with sincerity. The fewer tools you hand to those who don't wish you well, the fewer weapons they can use against you. Stop giving them the ammunition of your own voice. Let them wonder. Let them speculate. Let them see only what you decide to reveal. Silence is not loneliness, it is strength, it is wisdom. It is the ability to stand within yourself and know that your value does not diminish when it is not constantly displayed. There is a dignity in carrying your life with discretion. When you walk in silence, you walk in mystery. When you walk in mystery, you walk in power. People respect what they cannot easily predict. People admire what they cannot fully access. And those who love you deeply will not require constant disclosure to stay loyal. They will honor your privacy because they honor your person. Understand this: your life is not a public performance. It is not a stage where every scene must be broadcast for commentary. Your healing does not need an audience. Your victories do not need announcement. Your battles do not need narration. Live in such a way that your presence speaks louder than your explanations. Let your peace announce itself. Let your growth radiate without words. Let your blessings testify on your behalf. There is no need to shout what time itself will show. Even in joy, be discerning. Not everyone can handle the weight of your happiness. Some will resent it because it reminds them of what they lack. Some will pretend to celebrate with you while secretly hoping for your fall. Protect your joy the way you would protect a newborn child, shielded from harmful hands, sheltered from careless voices. Happiness, like an infant, is delicate. It must be nurtured carefully before it can stand on its own. That is why you cannot let just anyone hold it. Even in pain, be cautious. Not everyone deserves the details of your suffering. Some will listen not to comfort you, but to feast on your vulnerability. Misery loves company, and there are souls who delight in knowing you hurt, because it makes them feel less alone in their own sorrow. Guard your wounds. Heal them in safe spaces. Share them only with those proven to carry them with care. Do not lay your heart bare before those who cannot hold it without judgment. When you stop telling everyone what's going on in your life, you begin to hear yourself more clearly. You begin to trust your own voice without it being drowned out by opinions. You begin to make decisions rooted in your own wisdom, rather than the noisy chorus of others. You begin to cultivate a life that is truly your own, for the loudest lives are often the emptiest. Noise fills a room, but silence fills a soul. So learn the art of quiet. Sit with your dreams before you share them. Hold your plans close until they are too strong to be shaken. Protect your heart like it is the rare jewel it is. Speak less, live more. Share sparingly, give carefully. Understand that your business is your business, not community property. What you keep sacred will flourish. What you expose carelessly will wither. And so, stop telling people what's going on in your life. Let your growth be a surprise. Let your strength be revealed in time. Let your blessings shine so brightly that when they appear, there is no need for you to explain how they came to be. The fruit will speak for the tree. The tree does not need to tell the world that it has been growing. It simply grows, and in time, its fruit testifies to the care, the patience, and the unseen work that has taken place in silence. Mystery commands respect more than overexposure ever could, Because mystery has always carried with it an aura of power that cannot be touched, weighed, or easily explained. When people cannot fully grasp you, they pause, they pay attention, they consider you differently. In a world that craves constant visibility, that encourages people to spill their stories on screens and in conversations before those stories are even fully written, the one who holds back creates a different kind of energy. The one who does not reveal every detail commands attention, not through noise, but through presence. Mystery is not about hiding who you are. It is about valuing yourself enough to recognize that not everyone has earned the right to witness the depths of you. When you walk into a room and do not rush to tell people every thought, every plan, every intention, you create a natural curiosity. They wonder what you think. They wonder what you know. They wonder what you carry. This wondering builds a respect that chatter can never achieve. Chatter makes you common, predictable, exposed. Silence makes you rare, sought after, unforgettable. Overexposure is like leaving a light on all day until people forget to notice it. But mystery is like the moon appearing suddenly in the night sky. People look up because they cannot predict it, and its beauty feels magnified because it arrives without explanation. Overexposure weakens respect because it leaves nothing to the imagination. When you tell everyone everything, you strip your life of its depth. People begin to feel as though they know you completely, and when people believe they know you completely, they no longer value you the same. They stop leaning in to listen. They stop wondering what brilliance you might carry in silence. They stop being inspired by your presence because your presence has been reduced to constant explanations. Mystery protects that sacred aura. It is not about being deceptive. It is about being intentional. It is about recognizing that every treasure, every jewel, every masterpiece deserves to be revealed with care, at the right time, to the right people. Think about how some of the greatest leaders, artists, and thinkers carry themselves. They are not loud with every detail of their process. They are deliberate with what they share. They let their work, their art, their impact reveal itself when it is ready. That is why their words carry weight, because they do not waste them. They do not cheapen their power by scattering it everywhere. They understand that when you reveal everything, you lose leverage. But when you hold something back, you create anticipation, and anticipation is the foundation of respect. Mystery also builds boundaries without having to declare them. You do not need to announce what you will not say. You simply refrain from saying it. You do not need to warn people that your life is not open for their constant commentary. Your discretion shows it. Boundaries built through mystery are stronger than boundaries built through explanations, because they are felt, not argued. People respect what they cannot casually access. People respect what requires patience, trust, and consistency to earn. When you give away your life too easily, people forget that it is valuable. But when you keep parts of yourself sacred, they understand that access to you is a privilege, not a given right. Overexposure, on the other hand, invites judgment. The more you reveal, the more material others have to criticize. The more you explain, the more opportunities they have to doubt. The more you expose, the less sacred your journey feels even to yourself. Overexposure often comes from insecurity, from the desire to prove yourself through words and constant narration. But true confidence does not need to speak everything aloud. True confidence can stand silently, knowing that proof will come not from explanations but from results. Mystery gives you time to grow in peace. When you do not tell everyone what you are working on, you allow yourself the grace to change your mind without an audience. You allow yourself the freedom to fail quietly and try again without the noise of other people's opinions. You allow your ideas to breathe without being strangled by doubt disguised as advice. Growth needs privacy, and privacy is maintained through mystery. People cannot interfere with what they cannot see. They cannot destroy what they do not know exists. They cannot weaken what they cannot touch. There is also beauty in the way mystery keeps your spirit whole. When you are not always spilling your emotions and your dreams onto every surface, you keep something for yourself. You keep your own counsel. You learn to sit with your heart and your mind until they align, instead of rushing to broadcast them before they have settled. This gives you strength. It gives you clarity. It gives you an inner dignity that cannot be shaken by others, because others do not even know what you are holding. When you become too open, too exposed, you begin to live for reactions rather than for truth. But when you honor mystery, you live for truth alone, knowing that the right time will always come to reveal what is meant to be seen. Respect is not demanded. It is earned. And often it is earned by what you choose not to give away. Think of a diamond. It does not lie on the surface of the ground for anyone to pick up. It is hidden deep, waiting to be discovered through effort and intention. Its value comes not only from its beauty, but from its rarity. Your life, your dreams, your heart. They too are diamonds. If you scatter them in the open, people will treat them like pebbles. If you guard them with mystery, people will recognize their worth. Mystery adds weight to your presence. It tells people without words that you value yourself, that you do not seek constant approval, that you live with intention. Overexposure tells people that you are desperate for attention, that you cannot sit with yourself quietly, that your worth depends on how much of yourself you pour out for others to see. And desperation never commands respect. It may attract eyes, but those eyes will not look with reverence. They will look with curiosity, sometimes pity, sometimes judgment, but not with the honor you deserve. Mystery draws eyes too, but it draws them differently. It draws them with intrigue, with admiration, with a sense that there is more to you than meets the eye, and that more can only be known by those you trust enough to share it with. Even in relationships, mystery is essential. Love does not thrive on complete exposure at every moment. It thrives when two people reveal themselves slowly, with care, layer by layer, respecting the depth of one another. Friendship, too, is strengthened not by constant pouring, but by thoughtful sharing. Overexposure drains relationships because it leaves no room for discovery, no room for wonder, no room for growth. But mystery invites longevity because it keeps alive the curiosity and respect that sustains connection over time. To live with mystery is to live with power. It is to know that you do not owe anyone constant access to your spirit. It is to understand that your value is not in how much of yourself you reveal, but in how wisely you choose to reveal it. The more discerning you are with your truth, the more respect you will command without ever asking for it. Because mystery has always been the language of power, the shield of wisdom, the companion of dignity, and the silent force that elevates you above the noise of overexposure. True love honors your privacy without demanding explanation, because love that is genuine does not seek to invade every corner of your being. It does not attempt to strip you of the sacred spaces that belong only to you. Love that is pure and grounded recognizes that within every human soul there are rooms no one else may enter, places reserved for reflection, healing, and communion with oneself. To love someone is not to demand ownership of their every thought and secret, but to respect the boundaries they set and to understand that silence can be just as sacred as speech. When someone truly loves you, they do not measure the depth of your care by the volume of your confessions. They understand that your privacy is not distance, it is dignity, and they honor it as part of your wholeness. Many confuse love with control, believing that intimacy must equal exposure, that in order to prove devotion you must unlock every door and disclose every detail. But intimacy without respect becomes suffocation. Intimacy without discretion becomes imbalance. Love that insists you strip yourself bare at all times is not love. It is possession disguised as care. True love allows you to breathe, to retreat into yourself when you need to carry your dreams quietly without interrogation. The person who loves you well does not become suspicious of your silence. They recognize it as a necessary part of your strength. They know that some things can be shared in time, and some things can remain yours alone. Privacy within love is not secrecy. It is a kind of spiritual protection. To keep parts of yourself private is to preserve your individuality within connection, to maintain your essence, even as you give yourself in relationship. True love sees this not as a threat but as a beauty. It recognizes that two whole individuals are coming together, not to merge into one indistinguishable being, but to intertwine while still honoring the sacredness of each. Love that demands constant access, constant disclosure, will eventually erode respect. But love that honors your privacy deepens respect, because it acknowledges that you are more than what is visible, more than what is said, more than what is offered in words. When someone loves you with respect, they do not interrogate your silences. They do not demand to know every detail of your past, every thought that crosses your mind, every doubt that visits your heart. Instead, they create a safe space where you can share when you are ready. They allow you to move at your own pace. They trust that what is meant to be revealed will come naturally, not through force or fear. This trust is what makes love durable, because it removes the pressure to perform constant transparency. It allows love to breathe. It allows love to exist in balance, where both partners can honor their individuality as well as their union. Respecting privacy in love also builds trust in ways overexposure never can. When your partner does not demand every detail, you feel safer to offer it. When they do not pry, you feel freer to open up. When they do not treat your silence as a crime, you feel more willing to speak. This kind of respect turns privacy into a bridge rather than a barrier. It creates an atmosphere where sharing is a choice, not a requirement, and in that choice lies the beauty of real intimacy. Love is not about entitlement to your private spaces. It is about stewardship of the parts of you that you willingly share. There are those who fear privacy in love, equating it with distance or dishonesty, but this comes from insecurity. When someone demands constant explanation, it reveals more about their doubt than your devotion. It shows that they fear being left out, that they cannot find peace without control. True love, however, carries faith. It does not chase every shadow or demand clarity for every silence. It believes in you, it trusts in the bond, it honors the spaces you guard. And in doing so, it deepens the connection rather than weakening it. Consider the beauty of a garden. Not every flower is exposed at once. Some bloom quietly. Some stay hidden until the right season. A gardener who loves the garden does not dig up every root to see how it grows. They water, they nourish, they trust the process. Love should be the same. To honor privacy is to allow the other person to unfold in their own time, to blossom without force, to reveal their colors when they are ready. Forcing disclosure only damages the roots, but respecting privacy allows the garden of love to flourish naturally. Privacy also protects love from unnecessary harm. When every detail of your relationship is shared outside of it, when every conflict is narrated to outsiders, when every tender moment is put on display, the sanctity of the bond is weakened. True love understands that some things are meant to stay within, that not every joy and sorrow should be exposed to public commentary. Protecting privacy within a relationship is not hiding. It is preserving the sacredness of what you share. It is building a sanctuary where love can thrive without intrusion. And beyond the relationship, privacy within yourself matters just as much. True love will never demand that you betray your own soul for the sake of appeasement. It will never ask you to speak what you are not ready to say, to reveal what you are not prepared to share. to sacrifice your inner sanctuary for reassurance. The person who loves you truly will not see your privacy as distance, but as a strength. They will admire the dignity with which you guard your soul, and they will feel honored by the pieces you choose to reveal, because they know it is given freely, not demanded. To be loved in this way is to feel both safe and free. Safe, because you are not pressured into constant exposure. Free, because you are allowed to exist as yourself without compromise. This is the essence of respect within love, the acknowledgement that privacy is not a barrier to intimacy, but the foundation of it. For only when both people are allowed to keep their sacred spaces intact can love truly flourish without suffocation, without resentment, without fear. And it is in this balance of closeness and privacy that love finds its deepest strength, its truest form. Its most enduring respect. Let your results speak louder than your announcements, because in this world words are plentiful, but proof is rare. People are quick to speak of what they intend to do, of what they dream to achieve, of who they hope to become, but far fewer allow their actions to do the speaking for them. Announcements make noise, but results make impact. Announcements demand attention, but results earn respect. Announcements can fade into air, but results take root in reality. The loudest proclamations often come from those who have yet to build, while those who are truly building know that progress is best nurtured in silence until the fruit is ready to show. There is something undeniable about the evidence of achievement that no amount of talking could ever replace. When you announce too much too early, you create a kind of pressure that can become a burden. The moment you tell the world of your plans, you invite eyes to watch, you invite voices to comment, you invite doubt to enter the space of what was once only between you and your vision. Some will clap for you, but others will wait to see if you fail. Some will encourage you, but others will secretly hope you stumble. Some will listen with love, but many will carry away your words only to repeat them with skepticism. The more you announce, the more energy you spend proving yourself, not to yourself but to them. Yet when you let your results arrive without warning, you silence the critics without ever having to respond to them. The outcome itself becomes your defense, your declaration, your truth. People respect results because results cannot be denied. You can argue against words, you can question intentions, you can dismiss plans as fantasies, but when the result is standing before you, there is nothing left to doubt. That is why the quiet achievers often outshine the loud dreamers. They do not waste their energy defending their goals with explanations. They channel their energy into action, into persistence, into building brick by brick until what they envisioned is standing strong. Then, when people see it, there is no need for long speeches. The work itself testifies. The fruit announces the labor. The presence of results becomes louder than any announcement ever could. It is natural to want to share your plans, because sharing brings temporary satisfaction. You feel heard. You feel validated. You feel as though the act of speaking the dream brings you closer to it. But too often, that satisfaction tricks you into thinking you've already accomplished something. The applause you receive for announcing your goal can replace the fire needed to achieve it. You can become addicted to the sound of approval rather than committed to the silence of work. This is why many people announce grand things, but never follow through, because they received the feeling of accomplishment through applause before the true work was done. If you resist that temptation and hold your plans close, you preserve your energy for the labor required. You save your applause for the moment it is deserved. When the result stands undeniable, letting results speak louder than announcements also teaches patience. In silence, you learn to trust the process without the constant reassurance of others. You learn to move through obstacles without needing to broadcast every struggle. You discover the value of inner validation, of motivating yourself without external praise. And when the results finally come, they come with a deeper strength, because they were born in perseverance rather than performance. There is a sacredness in results that arrive without fanfare. They carry a weight that words cannot. They surprise those who doubted you. They humble those who underestimated you. They inspire those who never knew you were working. You do not need to tell the world how hard you are working when your results show it. You do not need to announce your growth when your actions display it. You do not need to convince anyone of your worth when your results reveal it on their own. And in this, you reclaim your peace. You stop wasting your voice on people who will not understand. You stop feeding energy to those who do not care. You stop chasing validation that will never be enough. Instead, you live, you build, you grow, and you allow the results to be your testimony. Think about the trees. They do not make announcements when they are growing. They do not call attention to every root pushing deeper into the soil, every leaf preparing to sprout. They grow in silence, nourished by the unseen work of the earth. Then, when the season is right, they reveal their fruit, and no one can deny that growth has taken place. The tree never needed to explain itself. The fruit speaks louder than any announcement could. So too should your life operate. Grow quietly. Nurture yourself privately. Work diligently behind the scenes. And when the season arrives, your results will be undeniable. There is also humility in letting your results speak for you. When you refrain from constant announcements, you avoid the trap of arrogance. You avoid the appearance of boasting. You avoid centering yourself in attention rather than in discipline. Humility allows you to focus on the work instead of the recognition. It keeps your eyes on the journey rather than the applause. And in the end, humility creates a greater impact because when the results do arrive, people admire not only the outcome, but the quiet strength that built it. They respect not only what you achieved, but the way you carried yourself along the way. Over-announcing can often make people root against you. Human nature has shadows of envy, and when you declare too much, too boldly, too early, you awaken that envy in others. They may not say it, but some will hope for your failure simply because your words stirred their insecurities. They will wait, they will watch, they will look for cracks in your process. But if you stay silent, they cannot root against what they do not know. And by the time they see the result, it is too late. The fruit is already on the branch, the house already built, the dream already realized. Silence starves envy. Results humble it. In relationships, too, results matter more than announcements. Promises and declarations mean little without action. You can say you love someone, but if your actions do not show it, the words are hollow. You can promise loyalty, but if your behavior does not prove it, the announcement is meaningless. True commitment is measured not in how loudly you speak, but in how consistently you act. And this is why results, in love as in life, always speak louder. People may forget your words, but they will remember your actions. They may dismiss your announcements, but they cannot dismiss your results. Letting your results speak louder also protects your spirit from unnecessary criticism. Words invite debate. When you announce your plans, people will offer opinions, doubts, discouragements. They will project their fears onto you. They will remind you of failures, of risks, of reasons why you should not pursue what you believe in. Their voices can become chains around your ankles if you let them. But when you keep quiet, you carry no such burden. You walk freely, guided by your own conviction, until the result stands, and by then their doubts have no power. The work is already done, the proof already alive. Even within yourself, results matter more than announcements. Telling yourself what you will do, what you hope to achieve, is not enough. Promises to yourself are only valuable when they are fulfilled. The respect you hold for yourself is built not in what you plan, but in what you accomplish. Each result, no matter how small, strengthens your confidence. Each step completed builds faith in your own ability. And over time, these results create a foundation so strong that you no longer need announcements to keep you going. Your history of proof becomes your motivation. Your results become your reminders that you are capable, worthy, and resilient. Letting your results speak louder than announcements also changes how others perceive you. You move from being seen as a talker to being respected as a doer. You become the kind of person whose silence carries weight, because people know that behind your quiet there is work happening, growth unfolding, transformation taking place. People begin to watch not your words but your life. They begin to take your presence seriously because they know it is backed by proof. In a world filled with noise, being someone whose results do the speaking makes you stand out without ever trying. The most powerful people in history were not the ones who shouted the loudest about their intentions. They were the ones who worked, who built, who struggled quietly until the results of their labor could no longer be ignored. The builders of great monuments, the creators of timeless art, the leaders of revolutions. Most of them worked in silence, often doubted, often underestimated, until the moment their results shook the world. They did not waste themselves on convincing words. They let their results be their voice, and that voice echoed through generations. You too can live this way. You can choose to honor your process with silence. You can choose to nurture your dreams in privacy. You can choose to let the work itself carry the message. In doing so, you not only protect your vision, but also magnify its impact. Because when the result appears, it comes with the weight of surprise, the strength of perseverance, and the undeniable truth of reality. And no announcement in the world can compete with that.